What's up? I am the DO Whisperer, so we're gonna get straight into it. I've been asked repeatedly, well, how do we tell who is straight? Now, how are you gonna ask me? But then I started thinking, because I mean, listen, you're a woman, you should know who's straight. You've dated straight men, right? I can tell you who's down low. But then I was like, you know what? I gotta figure this out. So I was like, I started thinking, and I was thinking and thinking and thinking while I was working out. And then it came to me, I had an epiphany. I was like, the answer is so simple. Who the straight men are. I was like, because the commonality with all of these men on TikTok is what? They're all fighting to pretty much promote this bad behavior. Because ask yourself, if I was a straight heterosexual man, what would they call me for what I'm doing? Helping women, loving women, pouring into women. What would they call me? The answer is so simple. A simp. So I had to do a little research on the word simp. Straight men that really love women, that really will support and be there for a woman, they're gonna be called a simp. We're gonna go over what a simp is. Okay, so a simpleton, also known as a simp, is a man who is seen as overly submissive or attentive towards someone they are attracted to, especially when the affection is not reciprocated. That's what they say a simp is. Okay, but really what a simp is a man who is shamed because he is respectful, emotionally open, and supportive to his woman. So now that we know what a simp is, let's go into the history. Simp was started around the 1980s to the 1990s. And guess where it was started at? In West Coast rap. Like, imagine that in rap. Who would have thought? I would have thought. Listen, like I keep telling people, all of this stuff is connected. Okay? They'll believe me one day. So let's just kind of get into it. So simp was supposed to be in contrast to the other imp archetype. Does that make sense? So that's why, like I said, rap started promoting for men to treat women like this. And again, if a man really thinks that being a simp is a bad thing, then they're never going to love a woman. That's why a lot of these men end up loving men. That's why they're upset. Because, listen, they don't want to be simps because they don't love women. Of course, this would be hard. You're not going to want to be supportive. You're not going to want to be respectful. You're not going to be emotionally open. So now that I figured this out, now we can really get this conversation heated. Because those are the type of men that are going to be straight men, because they don't call me a simp because I'm not exclusively into women. But if I was exclusively into women, I would be a simp. So you as a woman, you need to find you a man that is a simp, not a man that thinks that being respectful, being emotionally open, and supporting a woman is the bad thing, because boo, he's never going to be with one. Because how would he if he thinks that? And again, it goes back to media, culture, and society. Because all of these rappers that y'all look up to, that's why their music is the way it is. Because they have groomed you through your brain to not like women. And that's why a lot of y'all like men. But we're definitely going to do a deep dive into that live. So make sure you catch that live. And the live, of course, will be on YouTube. All my social media platforms are DL with.
All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, SHAMAIWAN, Hashem, Rekwakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, Shalom to my Akim, Wahatim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity. This is Brother Kawakab coming to you, no lesson. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. So today's lesson is going to be about this. Jake, all right, that's speaking on simps and how simps are basically, or Slakia, basically the only source of a straight man, and that anyone who's not a simp is basically closeted. All right, so he's basically saying that. And again, this is another one of those tactics used to kind of like emasculate the Israelite man, all right, in general. And I was about to say Jake, but in reality it's the Israelite man. Now the problem with this, I don't even need to say the problem with it, Slakia, let me just get to the point. The main thing is how you have people that are going to come over here and he has a whole bunch of comments of women basically supporting him and saying, yes, this, yeah, he's right, this, that, and third, oh my god, blah blah. And then look at this shit. I didn't even see this when I first reorganized the comments. Look, it says, this person says me, she, as or something, easy or whatever. The same men who shame simps, shame and resent alphabet men like they are basically against love. They are literally making themselves unhappy. So this is straight up the dumbest thing ever. All right, because all very clearly, all right, we as straight self-respecting men, okay, because there's the simp men that don't respect themselves and will desecrate themselves or disgrace themselves for the sake of a woman, all right, whereas there's self-respecting straight men, okay, that have an attraction to women, but they're not going to and Slocky, that's the thing though, like, people have no issues with women having standards, okay. It would make more sense. It would at the bare minimum make more sense if people would expect both men and women to simp or to act like simps. Then that makes a lot of sense. That makes perfect sense that people would say, well, you should be a simp, you should both be a simps, reciprocate the same feelings and stuff like that. But no, it's always the opposite. It's always flip things upside down. All right, and that reminds me of another precept. First Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is a man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahawah. So the hierarchy is Yahawah, then Yahawah, then Yahawashi, then the man, then the woman, as it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3, as you see right here. Okay, so this is the hierarchy where the woman's supposed to be at the bottom, but you have these people that are trying to flip the hierarchy. And I even made a lesson on this I don't know how many days ago, where I was talking about how people expect the opposite of this exact hierarchy, where they expect the God, all right, to serve to serve and meet the needs of the man just for existing. Then they also expect the man to serve the needs and wants and desires, Slakia, of the woman. All right, and then you also have these women, or Slakia, not women, these parents that are letting these kids do whatever the frick they want. All right, because the women are in charge of the kids. All right, so yeah, like this is the women are in charge of the kids especially in the society, but also in general, they have what's it called, authority biblically as well against over their children. But of course, at the end of the day, they're supposed to be, women are supposed to, let me get that instead. No, not this. Yeah, I was over here looking, I googled this and I saw multiple different verses, all right, that just disproved this whole doctrine, if you want to call it that, which is not even a doctrine, just a stupid thing in an attempt to emasculate straight men and make them feel and make women view men as lesser because they're not kissing women's asses. All right, so let's first get these where is it? 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. Colossians chapter 3 verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as it is fit in the Lord. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 33. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. 1 Peter chapter, oh wait, now we read that. But there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard the king nor princes. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. So as society is fallen, and these
people are fighting against the authority, right? They're also going to start to invade and attack each other.
So I'll just read this since I got it. First Peter chapter 3 verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. All right. So over here we have these. First off, we have all these multiple verses where the wives are to submit themselves to their husband, and then over here, the big thing that people always seem to forget or dismiss is that men in general, okay, we absolutely do have respect and honor to our wives. All right. And I was gonna leave this out, but I think it is also important to to reference this. All right, simply because people think that just because a woman has to submit to her husband, that it automatically means that there's some sort of abuse going on, or the man is just treating her like garbage. Absolutely not. That's not what the Lord YAHAWAH set in place. He set the woman to be in submission, okay, to the man, but at the same time, he expects a man to treat his woman with respect, of course. But again, that's not it. He didn't make it so that the man is gonna be over here simping and doing a woman's bidding and stuff like that, as is what these simps do, and what clearly this freaking dude is trying to basically say. Now, next, I also want to get this because this was the only comment. All right, this was the only comment that I actually saw in my short checking of it that I actually agreed with, which it's okay. It's okay. That's all it is. It's okay. But this comment is by Homegirl54. She said, I would not necessarily classify simps as real men. Look at what happened to Adam and Eve. Instead of being the one in charge and protector of Eve, he let her be the lead, and she was the first one to deceive. Simps are why Karens exist. They let the women be the man / wear the pants in the relationship. A real man cares about his woman as himself in a respectful and compassionate way. He leads with righteousness and bears the fruits of the Spirit. All right. So yes, obviously this is a very good comment. All right. And the fact of the matter is that this is true, because if you really think about the whole Adam and Eve thing, if Adam was kind of a simp because, or if not, he wasn't a literal simp, because he basically just it's just that way of like, if your wife is telling you, hey, come do this, I want you to do this with me and whatnot, and you know that this is bad, you know that this is stupid, this is dumb, this is not gonna help you out and whatnot, but you do it because she says, if you don't do this, I'm not gonna give you any sex, or if you don't do this, you're not gonna, you're basically like, man, damn, okay, fine, whatever, I'll do it. And then he's just not commanding authority, he's not commanding respect, he's not saying, we are not going to do this, do not do that, okay, we know that this is not something that we're supposed to be doing, shut the fuck up, come over here, and stay away from that tree. That's basically what should have happened. All right, but of course he didn't do it. He simped, and he got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Okay, and in addition to that, also the thing is that which we just read. Where is it? We just read in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7, where the woman is a weaker vessel, where the woman was deceived, and it wasn't Adam that was deceived. Adam just fell in line with Eve, as simps do. All right, men are supposed to be locked in with their moralities and knowing what's right and what's wrong and what to do and what not to do. But yet you're gonna have moments like that where people just fuck up. All right, like they just do stuff that they know they have no business doing. All right, so yeah, like this is a result of this is a result of that, where you have people that are trying to push this thing, and you also have Esau. You have Esau who's basically being that that serpent once again. All right, where he is trying to introduce these wicked doctrines onto our people, where you got our people copying him like this Jake, okay, copying that whole mannerisms. Okay, so also let me get this. This person is saying, aspiring Groot woman 24. She's saying he didn't let her be the leader according to any text. Please show me. He left her by herself with a misquoted version of the direction God gave him before he was even created. You calling Adam a simp and even a Karen is the wildest thing I've read online. No, it's actually very accurate, and it's a very well, I mean, maybe not Eve being a Karen. I don't think that is proper. I think it's better, and she did not, I don't think she didn't call Eve a Karen. She clearly did not call Eve a Karen. She literally said that Adam was a simp, and that simps are why Karens exist. And you know, but yet you have these people. Slucky, this is another thing that I learned in school. This is a thing I learned in school, where people will read only a few parts of your thing, either the first sentence, all right, and then the last sentence, and then think that this is all and a few words like Karen, all right. Fuck. A few words like Karen and simp, all right, and then think that they understand what the person is talking about, when clearly they did not read anything, and they did not read this, and they did not read the story of Adam and Eve, all right, because Adam, he knew he was not supposed to be eating from the thing, okay. He basically knew it, and that's why the serpent went to Eve, because Eve was able to lead Adam down the wrong path. If that's the thing, if you really think that if Adam didn't know, okay, because he knew that the fruit that Eve was giving him was fruit that he was not supposed to be eating, but yet he still did it anyway, simply because Eve was doing it. So he let Eve lead him. All right. You really think that the Lord would punish Adam for something he didn't know? All right. Look, and go back and read that story again. Okay. So Slocky, and continuing on. What the fuck is this supposed to mean? Okay, I just lost brain cells to this, because this has nothing to do anyway. But yeah, basically. Oh wow, another person who is who's saying something right, but I'm not gonna read all this. Trying to glorify simping, that very first definition you read is what it means. There's nothing good about it. So yeah, that's basically it. Trying to question the man's. Oh no. Okay, yeah, let's read this whole thing. Yeah, trying to glorify simping. That very first definition that you read is what it means, and there's nothing good about it. This is just another level of whenever a man doesn't behave the way women or feminine men want them to, they start trying to question that man's sexuality or masculinity. If the woman is matching your energy from a feminine standpoint, then you can love one. You can love her cherish and support her in all that. But when you're going above and beyond and she's barely giving anything, that's simping. Fellas, no simp. Okay, yeah, so this is from Purple Ill Emergency Channel. Okay, so yeah, he basically says that, and I wholeheartedly agree. He said the right things. Okay, where again, it always goes back to trying to question the man's masculinity, trying to question him, and that's the reason why I didn't even see this. I didn't even see this comment when I first saw this video, but this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I took issue with, and that's the spirit of the Israelite men, specific in general. All right, which actually, what? Let me see, make sure that I'm not talking out my ass. Maybe he might be an Edomite. All right, because even Edomites, oh, he's definitely not an Edomite.
How this is getting out of control, how government.
Yeah, he's not an Edomite. You see his hand. Or he might not be an Edomite, but that's basically the spirit. Okay, and even then, Slakia, I should have mentioned, you know, it's not always about skin color. So even if there are, and I'm not saying that there aren't Edomites that think this way, but even Edomites and, you know, Jake in general, they have the spirit of, you know, wanting things done properly, wanting there to be, you know, masculinity in men, wanting our specifically their respective men, all right, to follow after righteousness and not be, you know, and not be effeminate in those ways, all right, not letting some women walk all over you. And yet you, again, as I literally said, I think I said that in this one, not the second one, but basically where you have only a man simping, only a man, you know, giving a woman all he has, spending all his money, all his time, doing a bit of everything for him, while that woman is not doing anything. If that was the relationship, if it's not two ways, if not reciprocating, then that's where it's bad. Okay, if the woman it expects the man to do everything for her while she just sits down and does nothing. So he goes to work, he brings the money home, and then on top of that, this is a common thing. Okay, and I don't even think I need to clarify that, but this is a common thing where the women expect the man to go work and then expect the man to come home and cook and burn his money specifically on her, and still have money to pay for the bills, the house, and all that stuff. It's like they don't know. It's like they're straight up children. They think that money grows on trees, and then on top of that, they expect him to do all the chores around the house while she just gets to sit down and do nothing all day. All right, like that's how these women think. They don't. It's like it's wicked out. It is wicked out here. All right, but I don't want to read anymore. Of course, a woman thinks that this is a good take. All right, but yeah, it's always just whatever leads to men being exploited. All right, whatever leads to women getting ahead. All right, where you have these freaking undercover agents, quote unquote. It's not even undercover agents. It's more like what's it called? Playing for the other side. I guess that's a better way to put it. Okay, you got these men that are playing for the other side, that are trying to push out these doctrines on these women. All right, and then you're gonna have, and that's the way I think that's the way feminists start, because Esau was like, women, you are being oppressed by the so-called black man, all right, and then, you know, our women, the so-called black women, started fighting against us, saying that we were oppressing them, and then it flipped and swapped onto Esau Edom, which, by the way, that's the curses. The curses are, you know, transferring onto Esau Edom. Now, also, let me get this in Deuteronomy, verse 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave. Okay, so just in general, our men, our brothers, all right, or our other Israelites, okay, we always have our eyes evil towards one another. All right, that's a very common thing. All right, where Slakia, that's a very common thing where, you know, we never get any type of peace. We never get any type of, you know, what's the word? Help. All right, it's always our own people are tend to be our biggest enemies, where there's such a small minority, and I genuinely mean a small minority of our people that are truly on our side. All right, and I've experienced that, firsthand. All right, but continuing on. um yeah, so yeah, continuing on, Sirach chapter 25 verse 20. Sorry, Sirach chapter 26 verse 25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. Now, also, let me get this, because there was another iteration of it. This is the Sirach chapter 26 from the GNT. Let me get. Oops. Accidentally. Okay, 25. Verse 25, a self-willed woman is a bitch. All right, a bitch. All right. But a woman with a sense of decency honors the Lord. Okay, so basically, let's go over here to this. This over here is where it says a self-willed woman. All right, a self-willed woman. That is the primary thing, where a woman that only cares about what's it called, pleasing herself rather than pleasing her man or pleasing someone else. Okay, and this is the issue. All right, this is the issue that we take from. All right, this is where we take issue with. Okay, because we have women that would rather do stuff that is pleasing to herself, which ultimately all right, ends up destroying her. All right, that's just the reality of things. All right, because Saki, one thing to actually make note is how, in general, people they really don't, or Saki, women, like they just go doing all this stuff, and then after they hit a certain age and whatnot, then they start living by themselves, acting like, oh yeah, I don't need no man, all that stuff. And then I've seen like videos where you have these women that are making these videos saying like, I just realized I'm about to go into surgery for this, that, and the third, and then I don't have anyone to take care of me. I don't have anyone to go home to. All right, I think she said she was like 40 or 30 or 40. All right, where she just been wasting her life doing stuff that just isn't conducive to like a fulfilling life. That's what it is, a fulfilling life. All right, so again, that goes back into just like, what actually is the thing, and the Lord basically set things up a certain way for us. All right, as a matter of fact, let's get that, but let's get both of them if I can find the second one. I think it's Ecclesiastes chapter, I don't know, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahawah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. All right.
Exactly what they're about to do. They're about to bring mass oppression with events that they plan, operators that they set up, right? And you have to understand, when they do these events, people actually die.
Bear with me one moment.
Because you'll hear people use that term. It's a false flag event. It never happened. It's just the wording on how you say it. It's not that
Slakia.
what happened, that it was orchestrated. Because on most of these events, when you really look into them, the math doesn't math, and it's simple as that. The math ain't mathing. It's adding up. Okay? So let's go to the next video. So I had enough of her in that, it's like as much as it's not an Esau goes to the same playbook. And as much controversy is around that story, and as much evidence has come out against that story, you know, for someone to still try to push that narrative is beyond me. All right, but when anyone starts talking about that, it tells me they're planning to do something and they're going to do it themselves and blame.
Okay, I can't find it. Slock it. Anyway, but basically you get the main point. All right. You basically get the main point where the Lord set us to get the most purpose and the most joy through certain things. All right, and for men, all right, it is serving Yahawadah. That is our purpose that we, get fulfillment out of. And for women, it is serving men. All right, and that's just how the Lord set out to be, for a woman to have children, okay, be in joy. But yet Esau has made it so that these younger women, all right, I'll say mostly younger women, okay, because some of these older women do kind of I guess find joy in being wicked. But anyway, the thing is that these younger women primarily are basically taught and ironically, okay, groomed as that devil, all right, painted it out to be. But these younger women are groomed to believe and think that they just need to live by themselves. They don't need to have kids. They don't need to, start a family. All right. Where again, like you're living by yourself. All right. You might have friends, but like who can you actually, trust at the end of the day? Because all the people that follow after these types of, let me get that. Isaiah chapter 32, verse 5. The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. Verse 36, for the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, and to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink to fall, of the thirsty to fail. All right. Verse 8, but the liberal devises liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. Okay, so basically the key word here is liberal and vile. The key words here are liberal and vile, where people that claim to be liberal, quote unquote, they are actually the most vile people. All right, they're the ones that are pushing for wickedness. All right, and that's this was something that I find very funny. I find it very hilarious, because people always say stuff about how the liberals are so nice. The liberals are this. They're about peace. They're about happiness. This, then, and third, whatever. All right, but in actuality, all right, no, they're not. All right, they're about wickedness. They're about pushing wickedness and making the people take after self-serving doctrine. All right, which is where you get this whole feminism thing, where you have these feminists or women, all right, that are pushing for wickedness. All right, like it's a self-destructive way. All right, so yeah, that's basically it. I really just did not like this video, and I thought this was a good lesson to, and I literally watched an ad for. That's crazy. Anyway, I did not like this video, and I felt the need to do it. And funnily enough, I saw one like-minded the fuck? One like-minded person who said it, as well as another woman who pointed out how he was wrong, and how simping is what led to Adam and Eve, basically losing their immortality. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem, Bakwak Badash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, abad ball, and shalom.